Yeah. Bill Apter.
Dr. Chris, it's great to be with you. And usually I have so much positive energy coming onto our unscripted show every week, but tonight I'm a little blue, and the background is too. Dear friend, half of the Wild Samoans and the father of Roman Reigns, Sika Anoa'i, died today. And what surprised me is I had heard recently that he had been ill, but Afa, his brother, has been in the news for being very ill recently as well. But this Sal Corrente, the big cheese, everybody in the business knew him, still knows him. He always calls me with this breaking news. He gets it from everybody. And really surprised me. I've known the Samoans before they were the Samoans. They were the Islanders. Met them in Toronto when they were working for Frank Tunney back in the 70s. And they were terrific to me. But what a legacy. When you talk about great maniacal, crazy tag teams that were actually believable back in the day. People didn't laugh at Afa and Sika like they were comedy, even with Captain Lou Albano, like they were comedy heels. People were scared of them.
They were,
when they
eat, when they eat the big pigs when they were in the WWE, they were eating the big chicken legs or turkey legs or something like that.
I think it was more the Moondogs, though, wasn't that?
No, they were eating bones. They were
right.
Yeah.
What was your take on the Wild Samoans?
I mean, just believable. Very believable. You know, it's one of those things, man, where tag team wrestling is just it's not as just alluring as it used to be. I mean, tag team wrestling used to be just as popular as solo used to be.
Not Solo Sikoa.
not Solo Sikoa. No, no,
No,
no.
no, he's not
But
popular.
solo wrestling.
Yes,
And the Wild Samoans was definitely one of those tag teams that was huge in the 70s and so on. And they were just really believable. It's just one of those things that when characters, and I think that's one of those things when characters make you believe that how they're acting is who they are.
yeah.
They're hitting something. They're hitting pay dirt there, and I think the Wild Samoans definitely did that as far as just their characters. It
They
was
kept
very
up.
very believable.
They kept their character up 24/7 because I went out to dinner with them many times, and when fans would come over and try to talk to them, they would, just look at them like this, and they kept it up. Other than the small areas they lived in, Allentown and Pensacola, people weren't sure if they talked for
Yeah.
real or if they could speak English. Just like the original
Mhm.
Sheik, it was the same thing. They
Wow.
stayed in character, and then when they brought Captain Lou Albano into the fold, he
Yeah.
added a little kind of maniacal, almost comedic to it, but you had to believe him after a while.
Yeah.
Olaf and Sika, they're going to do this, and then he brought a nice attitude to them. Speaking
Yeah.
about characters, I have something I wanted. What?
I'm looking at a video from. I'm looking at a video just to verify my
He's
what I
watching
was.
TV, folks, while we're
Uh, yes,
chatting.
I'm doing live research,
Right.
and so I'm looking at a video of Mr. Fuji introducing Sika, and the dude is literally eating a live chicken.
Oh, yes, yes, yes,
Crazy, man.
yes.
And
Can
then
you
it's crazy
imagine?
because he's cutting a promo and he's trying to stay in character. And he's like, he's like grimacing as he's eating this chicken. It's
Can
crazy.
you imagine what the animal leagues would think of this today?
That's true. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very, very
I don't
true.
think it was a real live chicken, but if
Uh,
it was, he wasn't consuming it. He
yeah.
wasn't killing it on TV.
No, I'm looking at it right now. There's a chicken that's doing this, and he's eating the chicken.
And it's
And
live.
yeah, it's crazy, man. I'll send it over to your private chat as you're doing it. I
Well,
remember
what,
that. I
is
remember.
it on you? Is it on YouTube?
I just sent it to you.
That's
Oh,
the
your
link.
private chat. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we will take a look. In the
it's
meantime, you talked about great characters and not great characters. I've got a present for you.
mhm. What's that?
You want it?
Sure. Depends on what it is, though. Oh, you got a
Video
VHS.
tape.
Oh, you can. So you got Bo Dallas's VHS tape
I
from
do.
Wyatt Sicks. Wow.
I do. Although this one's a little different.
Okay.
This is the Smoky Mountain Stars ranking me out on my 50th birthday.
Very
We
nice.
should play this.
That would be fun.
I
Yeah,
have
if
I
somehow
have the
we can hook
VCR
a
here.
VCR up to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
sound.
no, I could do that. I can't do it tonight, but I can certainly do. Although we're PG, this is
Yes. Oh,
somewhat.
okay. Yeah.
So I watched. People might say, "Hey, Bill, you're not with it. You're an old fart. What do you just don't like this whole thing?" I don't like this whole thing. I think that if it was just going to be a tribute to Bray Wyatt every year on the anniversary of his death, they do something like this. Great, great. Okay. So now to have his brother, Bo Dallas, speak honestly about the death, I think that was something that was too sacred to go into a segment about the Wyatt family. I think it just didn't belong. Most of it is all playing. This brought some stark reality to it that I don't know if I was ready to hear. What about you?
I thought it was great.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, I liked it. So I think it should have been. Um, I liked the Bo and Uncle Howdy thing. I thought that was incredibly done. I thought that that was very, very raw. It was real. Um, it's Bo mourning, for his brother, and that was a way for him to do it.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was there. It seemed like it was therapeutic to him to really bring this into life and make something out of this. Uh, I just didn't like how they integrated it into the show. It felt like
Right. Well,
every
that's what I was trying
yeah,
to say. I
yeah,
think it would have been great if it was, I don't know, something separate from the show or on
yes.
one of their other, on the bump or something like that. But
Mm.
I mentioned this on when we were
Why
taking
couldn't they
time.
do it on McAfee's show?
Well, I
They don't
mentioned
need
this.
to do
That
that.
would have been a great place for it.
Yeah.
But I mentioned this on Time Machine, and I'm going to mention it here. Is that since the Triple H era has come about, we've been pushing this is not sports entertainment in a way.
Mhm.
This
Mhm.
is professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And it's been like that until this came along. And now I'm seeing things like this, and also upcoming, they're going to be taking us behind the scenes
Mhm.
of WrestleMania in Philadelphia. And people are going to get a look at how things were planned out with the various wrestlers, etc.
Mhm.
So they've completely taken the magic trick
Mhm.
and opened it up for everybody to know how they do it. So when somebody says to me now, "Hey Bill, is that stuff real?" I watched it on TV, and I used to protect it with my life.
Mhm.
But now it's, hey, I watched how the two opponents were talking to each other, what they were going to do. I watched the Wyatt thing, and it was all a lot of shtick and
Mm.
stuff. But you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah.
I
Kayfabe is
do.
dead.
I mean, Uncle Howdy's kayfabe. I mean, like, I think he's not. We had to believe that Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas were two different people in that segment, and they were the same person.
Sure.
So they're protected and
Oh,
somehow.
you just broke kayfabe, but go ahead.
I just broke kayfabe.
You go.
But I'm with you, man. I'm with you as far as just um they are breaking the fourth wall, and you got to be careful with that because it is it is a choreographed, it is a predetermined, it is a scripted, sports entertainment.
We don't want to hear that in old school, but go ahead.
So we have to be careful with that because at the end of the day, it's like we still want to have this suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
That's what pro wrestling's all about. Because guess what? The wrestlers know the outcomes. There's a there's a run sheet, behind backstage as far as the
It's a
matches, who's
show.
gonna win.
Right.
They
Yeah.
know all of that. But the viewer, the what was so alluring about pro wrestling for decades was that the viewer didn't know that the wrestler knew.
They didn't
So
know for sure. They
yeah,
suspected it.
yeah. So in many cases, their characters were so strong that they thought it was reality. I mean, you've interviewed hundreds of people. I've interviewed hundreds of people too, and I remember uh, interviewing Jake Roberts, and he was talking about how when he was, healing it up, and how it was really, really serious. He was really serious about
Yeah.
healing it up, and like he would be happy when he would come outside of of the arena and his tires were slashed. That was like a badge of honor to him.
Oh,
So
sure.
yeah, so it's like that understanding that kayfabe, that character, was so strong. But with these video stuff that like you were talking about with WrestleMania, it's cool to see the backstage about that. But I do think they have to be very, very careful because at the end of the day, The Rock doesn't need his character protected. You know, I mean, he's his own entity. He's away from pro wrestling. But once you start bringing Cody Rhodes in there, you still got to protect Cody Rhodes because he's still the champ. So you don't want to make him seem like just some random.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that part of pro wrestling. I'm still that innocent fan and on the same show, you have what you want people to believe with Drew McIntyre, right? That's like, I quit. This is it. Goodbye. Then he comes back.
That was not believable at all, by the way, when he did that.
You know, I thought in my fan head, I knew he wasn't really quitting. But when I talk to younger kids that live on my block and follow wrestling, Drew McIntyre quit last night. They bought it.
See, I think that's one of the biggest issues, Bill, is that pro wrestling isn't written for the kid, the child audience anymore. Back in the day, it was written for the younger audience because it was larger than life. It was superhero characters. It was super villain characters. Storylines really, was riveting and captivating. But the target audience seems like college age frat boys. You know what I mean? Like it just seems like that.
They're too smart to believe it.
Yeah. And I don't think they care about believing it though. I think it's just a gathering for people to come to just put themselves over. Look at a typical pro wrestling crowd. They barely care about, most of what's going on. They just care about singing and chanting, "This is awesome." And after about a few moves,
a Rocky Horror Picture Show.
So essentially it is.
But now you see, if you look at this, sometimes where the line becomes, is this real or not real, is when Jacob Fatu came in, and I haven't seen somebody catch that lightning fire in a long time, the way he caught it. And everybody, even today, they're still talking about that incredible impact that he made just by no theme music, nothing, just showing up and shocking people. That made people go like, what, that part? Oh, I'm sorry, I got a loose bridge here. That part was genuine. That was exciting. Was it real? I don't know. I couldn't tell. Cody Rhodes really got hurt there. So
yeah, I mean these debuts and because Tama Tonga and Tongaloa debuted strongly too, and they feel like just like everybody.
As soon as I saw them,
feel like everybody else, right now. So
as soon as I saw them, they didn't have that killer look of it. They're smaller than I thought that I've seen when I watched videos of them in Japan. They seemed smaller, but they didn't seem to, and I think I mentioned this on our show last week, they didn't live up to the announcers' hype as those killers. This guy came in where it was believable.
I think Tama Tonga did. I think they brought in Tama Tonga pretty well. Tongaloa, not so much. Tama Tonga, okay. I think that they did. I'm just not confident that that the sustainability will be there. I mean, it just seems like I don't see it at all. I mean, like I don't see Jacob Fatu anytime soon. He's already coming in being second fiddle to somebody else. I mean, he's joining this new Bloodline faction with Solo Sikoa. He's just going to be a part of a faction, so he's not doing anything. It's himself. I wish they would have brought some character and some reality with Jacob Fatu, like his story. Like he was arrested for robbery at 18 years old.
Yeah, I know.
He went to prison. He saw the Usos wrestle, and it changed his life. He became a pro wrestler. That inspired him to become a pro wrestler. We need to see that. That's what we need to see. We need to see that story come to life. That would somehow that would make him a lot more exciting and captivating as a character than it comes as this werewolf that will most likely lose to
Well,
the original bloodline.
I got to disagree a little bit here. I'm going to disagree a little bit. I think what Solo was supposed to be, that maniacal killer, didn't pan out. He didn't have that fire that they expected him to have. This guy, I think, is going to take that part of what Solo did not bring to the table that they originally saw on him.
Well, Solo's the leader, so you saying that is a problem because he's supposed to be the leader of the faction. So if you don't think he have that ability and he was he's under delivered, that's a bad look for the entire bloodline.
I think he's under delivered in terms of the animalistic aggressiveness that they wanted him to show, because they didn't have him destroy everybody like a maniac. This guy, Jacob Fatu, I think that's what they're going to do with him. I think Solo is going to be like, get him, attack this guy. I think Solo is going to show his power now as the head of the table, and then Roman comes back and the explosion happens.
And then Roman's group beats the heels.
What's that?
Roman's group, whoever that's going to be, they beat the heels.
Yeah, Roman and probably the Usos. I think the Usos get back together again.
Yeah, but yuck.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
I mean, an opportunity to really branch out Jay to be a really good single star. You're deciding to put the Usos together again.
Well, they may as the new bloodline, just for the 6-man tag team matches. Jay can still stay.
6-man? That's 8. There's 5 people in the bloodline.
Well, I know, but you can mix it up. You can break it down a little bit. One week you have Jacob and Solo and one of the Tonga guys.
Some Freebird rule when it comes to bloodline.
Right. With the Freebird bloodline title, but you can't do that. Why not?
The Free Bloods.
Ooh.
There you go.
Michael Hayes, producer.
The Free Bloods.
I love it. Wow.
We got Dez with $4.99.
Hey, Dez. Thank you.
God bless Sika's soul, and may God bless Roman Reigns and his family. Do you think this will delay his comeback? Blessings to you, Dr. Chris and Bill Apter. Good question, Dez. You think this will delay Roman's comeback?
If it was going to be this week or the following week, possibly. Other than that, I don't think it will.
I agree. I don't think it will. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it will. I think he won't come back until probably 3 weeks or so from now. 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's a very good question, and it's hard to really put your finger on it because we don't know what his psychological state will be, whether he's ready to come back to wrestling. He and his dad were super close. Yeah.
Do you think they were originally pinning him for SummerSlam, or do you think he wasn't going to be at SummerSlam?
No, I think definitely he was going to come back for SummerSlam. Yeah.
You think so? Because right now they're doing the triple threat for Money in the Bank, the Bloodline against Cody, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton, which feels so filler to me. But
it is. But I think Roman was going to somehow just maybe show his face or something and not actually get involved.
I don't know if they'd do that. I think they may have just. I think they would have had the Bloodline win and do Cody solo at SummerSlam, which I don't want to see.
I don't think Cody solo is going to be the ticket. I think Cody Jacob Fatu is going to be the ticket there.
Oh, heck no. I don't think so at all.
Okay. Jacob Fatu attacked him, hurt him. He hurt him.
Solo's the head guy now. That's
Solo's been beaten too many times already. He's been beaten
Right,
too
but
many times.
right, but if that with that logic though, he wouldn't have been the leader of the bloodline. He's
Well, you can
definitely
be a leader.
being booked as the leader of this new regime.
Yeah, but you can be a leader and you might not be the best in the ring, but you might be mentally the best guy strategically how to plan things.
I don't know what
Just
that
a
is.
thought. Just
All
a
right,
thought.
Des, $4.99. The
Yes,
Wyatt
comes
Six
back.
can be special. They don't need titles to be great. They just need to be dominant, consistent, and scary. I hope Triple H doesn't drop the ball.
You know what I think they were, what I thought they were going to do?
What's that?
After we saw Chad Gable with the non-bullet in his head, I thought this week they were going to come out with Chad Gable as part of the six, so to say.
Oh,
I know, I agree, but I thought that's what they were going to do.
I'm glad that they didn't do so. I think they did just as bad or even worse by having them being perfectly fine to the point of beating Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed in a triple threat match to be a part of the Money in the Bank and coming out and cutting promos.
Yeah.
That was horrible to me.
I was.
Absolutely horrible.
I think, again, I'm not a fan of this whole thing with the Wyatts. I believe, and I'll say it again for the 100th time, they should just leave the original alone. Let us have great memories of what the whole Wyatt thing was.
We
Leave it
do it
alone.
both. What do you do
Maybe
with
bring
Bo?
it back one time as a tribute.
What do you do with Bo?
Bring him back as a baby face. Oh, Dallas. Bray was my brother. I love him. Put him in, make him a wrestler. Doesn't have to be that crazy gimmick.
So you
It
just
can be
bring
a
Bo
wrestler.
Dallas back as a random wrestler?
Yeah, you're not random because people know he's Bray's brother and see what they storylines they could, you know, build with him as Bo Dallas. Make his own reputation.
What do you think they would have done something that worked now that didn't work before because they tried so many things with
Yeah,
them?
I do. They tried a lot of different things with him, but they
Yeah,
also tried a lot of different things with Bray Wyatt before he
and it
became
didn't work,
accepted.
unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah.
So they've got to find Bo Dallas's, but that can't happen now because
Mhm.
he's now in with Uncle Howdy and the
Yeah,
rest of them.
that's one of the only things that I'll put over, man. I think that it's creative. I think that it's innovative. I think that it's
Yeah,
character
right.
driven. I like it. I think I don't like. So I was critical of the Wyatt Six debut. It was corny to me in many ways. It was cinematic. It was interesting as far as just the production time that they put in there. There were a bunch of things that was just odd to me. Um, last on Raw was a bit odd to me too because Chad Gable basically just shrugging that off. You know, what I mean, that just really diminished the intrigue and the impact of them attacking someone, and they can just recover
Sure.
the next week
Yep.
with a bullet in her head. Like it just
Drop the
that
ball.
was weird. You know, that was super weird. Uh, I'm you know, like I said, I'm not a prisoner of the moment. I was critical of it last week. I'm critical of it this week, but I do think the segment was interesting. But like I said last time, like I said this time, how does this translate into a match? Like that is one of the biggest things that I'm looking for
All
in
right.
all of this.
Here's what it'll
How does
translate.
this translate into a
It
match?
will not translate into a good match. It will translate into maybe a half-hour series on Netflix
Of what?
of the Wyatt family. Cinematic half-hour show. Maybe they'll take Raw to 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and the second half or the second half hour becomes owned by the Wyatt family, and it's strictly like a horror show.
Oh no! What?
Yeah, maybe.
There's not. They're not going to. That's going to
3D.
be overkill. So every week they're going to do some type of wide horror show.
It's a scripted show, not reality show, a scripted Wyatt show.
So just the six, like what? Just going into some mall or a restaurant and taking pictures.
Oh, I like that. I like the mall idea, but that's too much of like a variety show. I'm talking about a scripted serial type of show with
What's
I
the
don't know what
plot?
the premise would be. Maybe I'll take some time this week and write something.
All right, you do that. All right, Rollin, $5.
Hey, Roland, I wondered where you were.
I agree with one of the things we were just talking about a few minutes ago. Hogan, Hogan in his era targeted children, and Austin in his era targeted young adults. Austin in his era saved wrestling from Hogan, Doink, Repo Man, etc. Rollin, when did we talk
I
about
don't know
Hogan?
what he's asking.
I don't know. But Rollin has this running thing about he started this odd running topic on the chats of who's a better name altogether, Hogan or Austin. And he's a big Austin fan. So he was we've discovered out of the Rollin vault how much he's not the biggest Hogan fan, but he's a big Austin fan. So
Okay, so now regarding that, I might as well bring this up. I did a 35-minute audio interview with Hulk Hogan.
okay.
Some of it he's never talked about before. For example, what killed WCW. He refused to be on that show because it was all the dark side people are all negative, and he's not about that anymore. He shot on CM Punk, Braun Breaker, and several other people, and that will be running right here exclusively on Wrestle Binge. I think the first segment of Hogan will be either Thursday or Friday. I believe it'll be Thursday this week. But first time I've interviewed him in about 2.5 years. And yeah, he was very upfront about a lot of stuff. And for you people that say, oh, he lies about everything, nope. This is upfront and honest about everything. He shoots.
There's a lot of videos confirming the the stories that he's told over the past few decades. So it'll be interesting to see.
No, there's none of that here. This is all. This is all about the current pro wrestling scene, to use an old school word there. We talked a lot about almost all the WWE talent.
Wonderful. Let's check that out. Is this on here, the Wrestle Binge?
Yes. Oh yeah, exclusively.
Nice.
On Wrestle Binge.
Exclusively on Wrestle Binge. Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got Clipside, $2. I hope they just do cinematic matches like Taker. Oh.
Yeah, I buy that. I like that. I'm fine with that. Don't put it in the wrestling show.
Not me. Any of this translating into a match is a no-go for me.
People are saying that they're going to feud with the Judgment Day, or the Bloodline, or Judgment Day.
That's one of the issues, Bill. That's one of the biggest issues I have with all of this.
Yeah.
Once you make this into wrestling segments, like once you make this into segments on Raw, it kills the whole allure to me. It kills the mystique. Yeah. All right, my man. Let the listeners know where to find you, my brother from another mother. Oh, we got another super chat. Des 199. Where do they go next with Bianca and Jade?
Oh, Des, I'm glad you brought that up. Again, I have mentioned in the past that at the Royal Rumble earlier this year, the crowd popped biggest when the two of them became face to face. People want to see that match. That's where I think they're going to go with this down the line. I don't know where, when, but it's got to happen.
It's going to happen. Sure. Yeah. Just give me a good story, man. Give me a good story. If they're just doing a match versus for match sake, I don't care about. So, and plus Jade's got a lot of work to do in the ring. So, she's been botching, and I think it was too early to pull the plug on them as a team. I think that would be that would have been a good opportunity for her to keep working on her in-ring set by being in the tag team. Her doing solo stuff, I don't think she's ready for that yet, and we've already seen that. So she looks like an absolute megastar, but she's not ready for that yet.
She can't do solo stuff. He's the head of the table. Okay. That's all. What?
Let's wrap it up, kids. All right, this guy right here is Bill Apter. I'm Dr. Chris. This is Unscripted. Have a good night, everybody.
See you at the matches.
So long.